Hey, Frank Film here again, and today we're doing a spontaneous trip to Cape May. I've noticed that the rest of this week is really bad weather, and I haven't shot any film in about like 2-3 weeks since my trip to McGuire Air Force Base. And the problem is today is where I live is very, very cloudy, but to our south of here in Cape May, it's not so cloudy. And I've kind of been wanting to go there for a while, and being that, once again, it's going to be bad weather the rest of the week, and I really don't have any plans currently for the next couple weeks to shoot more film until I go out to Long Island. So I said, screw it, let's go. So right now I got the OM10 with me, and I got the Volt E510. I'm gonna go fill up with gas, grab some coffee, and we're gonna head out to Cape May. Okay, so we got our coffee, and now it's time for the 2-hour drive south from here. I don't know which films I'm gonna shoot today, exactly. Once again, this was all spontaneous, but I actually do have a decent supply in my bag. And also, I want to take some more footage with the DJI Action camera I just got. That's actually what I'm filming this on right now. And hopefully it won't be that badly cloudy. I actually had to head north to get coffee, and the clouds got worse. So hopefully the more we head south, the less clouds there will be. Because, I don't know, my last couple of times shooting photography, I've got some bad clouds. And, I just don't want to avoid that and get a nice sunny day, but I guess the best we'll get is partly cloudy today. So time to head out. Okay, we have just arrived. Should turn that off. Okay, we've just arrived in Cape May. 2 hours later. One problem. The cloud cover only broke for half the state. Got down to the very tip of the state, and cloud cover is worse than the central part. Gotta love Jersey. Anyway, though, it's actually a bit crowded down here today, but, so I got the lighthouse behind me. It's too tall to see out the window if I was pointed that way, but, I'm right now on like a selfie stick monopod with the action camera. So I think I'm gonna swap this over to, my tripod / monopod instead of, this selfie stick. Yeah, so I guess let's get out there, and I guess we're just gonna have to deal with the clouds for now. Oh, also on the way down here, I noticed a couple other things to take pictures of. There's, the town of Cape May is pretty nice. This is actually a little off the town, the lighthouse. And on the way down, about 30 miles back, I noticed a, nuclear cooling tower. Well, I guess it's part of a nuclear plant, but, I never even knew that was there. So there's half a chance if I get a little bored down here on the way back, we might stop there if I can figure out how to get to it. But that's a whole operation in itself. But anyway, let's get out there.
After arriving, I was faced with the question of what film to shoot, and based on the weather conditions, I chose to place a safe bet and load up Portra 400. So understanding that not everyone's an expert in geography or familiar with Jersey, I just wanted to give you guys a little idea of where exactly we were on the map. Right at the very bottom. I took the first shots from the edge of the parking lot, just trying to get my bearings and scope out where I wanted to go and what looked interesting. To be honest, I was pretty bummed out by the look of these skies, just so gloomy and depressing, and not what I was looking for this day. So you might be noticing this point of view perspective that everything is being shot in, and I know I originally said I was going to bring my tripod, but that didn't happen. I wound up having this moment where I realized I could strap the action camera to the strap of my backpack and use it in this point of view perspective. So I'm going to experiment with this a little for the next couple videos, and just let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. To be honest, in this video I think I relied too heavily on it and should have used my tripod to shoot B-roll, but I'm going to fix that in the future. So I was really attracted to this Navy flag flying off this boat left outside the lighthouse, and I really love the shots I got of it. Also love the fact I got that bike falling over on camera. What's the chances of that? So as I was getting up to the lighthouse, I started to notice people at the top, and I thought it might have been closed due to COVID and actually didn't expect to be able to go inside, but turns out I was able to go in, and I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to test out the action camera, being this point of view perspective. And I paid my $7 and headed up the tower. Okay, so the pictures inside the lighthouse, I'm gonna admit, definitely not my best work. I didn't mind the first one, but it was really dark, and it was just a shot in the dark if I got anything out of these photos. But it never hurts to try. Okay, so I wouldn't call it great, but this was definitely a better attempt. I think it has a bit of an eerie ambiance, that photo, and it's definitely worth looking at. I would have loved to take a long exposure in here, but as you can see, it's a tiny stairway, and I don't think anybody would have appreciated that. Honestly, it was quite terrible to get up, as you're about to see, like just with all the people and trying to fit in here and constantly either waiting or shoving your way up. At the same rate, what did I really expect? I showed up on a Sunday, and that's what I get. So I guess I didn't consider at all the fact that a lighthouse is a 5-story tall spiral staircase, and that it would be physically exhausting to climb a 5-story tall spiral staircase. My legs were jello by the time I reached the top, but it was definitely worth it. So don't ask me what on God's green earth possessed me to stick my camera out the porthole and take a picture. But here you go. You definitely didn't ask for it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I must say, the hike to the top was definitely worth it, after I got to see this breathtaking view. Okay, so something that took me quite by surprise was this bunker that's on the beach. I actually don't know much about it. I actually really want to know more. It looks like it's left over from World War II, some kind of coastal battery. It reminds me of something that should actually be at Normandy Beach in France, not Cape May, New Jersey. But after I seen it, I definitely knew I had to make my way over there. So these last two shots from inside the steel cage actually turned out to be some of my favorites. I know it might sound like all my shots are my favorites, but I really like those two and the vibe they give off for some reason. I really can't explain what it is, but it's a vibe. So at this point I had to back down to take more pictures of the lighthouse. And honestly, I was so caught up at this point in the location and everything going on and heading up to the top that I didn't even realize the weather got better. And I think that's what makes these next couple shots of the lighthouse a lot better, and from here on we're gonna have a lot better luck. So something that made me laugh at one point was I seen a group of people crowded around this boat, very confused by the flag on the back, the blue and white stars. I just happened to know it's a Navy flag, so I just sat there laughing as they were Googling it and looking it up. I know it's not common knowledge, maybe I just read too many Snapple facts, but it kept me entertained for a little bit. So as I started my exploration to go find this bunker that looks like it came from Omaha Beach, I came across this scene, and to be honest, maybe I'm shot, but I think this gives off a vibe that reminds me of the French countryside. Let me know if you think the same, but it reminds me of a lot of the photography work I've seen out of France. So I know I said in a previous video, I'm not a big fan of scenes with a lot of green, but here, I think it worked well to create some fire. So at this point I switched to my second roll of Portra 400. As I was switching rolls, I was approached by an older gentleman with a camera that had plenty of questions about film photography and how I still got film developed and how I was still managing to shoot film. He was very curious about my camera and what I was doing and everything. Towards the later part of the conversation I had with him, I happened to notice the camera he was holding was a $6,000 brand new Leica camera. So honestly, I don't know who was more impressed with who. The old man being impressed with me, with my film, or me being impressed with the old man with a Leica. I honestly couldn't tell you. After much frustration, and getting lost several times, I finally found the bunker. These next few photos are some of my favorite from the trip to Cape May. As you can see, there's this family crossing into frame, and I think they add so much life to the next couple photos. I never intended on it when I set out, but this is going to be a reoccurring theme for most of the photos on the beach. Photos with no one in them, followed by photos with people crossing through them. And I think it actually shows a great example of the difference having life and people and or even animals in a photo, the difference it makes. It's so satisfying when Portra gets it right. So for a quick second I refocused my attention on the lighthouse and the beach, and I really like these pictures for the opposite reason of the ones at the bunker. They seem to give off this vibe that no one's around and they're quite empty. And I think it gives off a really peaceful feeling. So living pretty much on the Jersey Shore, I shoot a lot of my photos at the beach, and Portra is one of my favorite for this. Just the colors you get with the sand, and I think they just look beautiful with the sky. And in this photo with the bunker, you just see how it brings out all the colors of the graffiti and the deterioration of it. I finally made my way up close to the bunker and started giving it a look around. It was mostly boarded up for the most part and had keep off spray painted all over it, so I took the hint, but it didn't stop me from getting some banger photos of it before I left. For some odd reason, this plane came by and told me to stop at Ben & Jerry's. I don't know what that was all about. Returning to my statement earlier about how I regret, in hindsight, shooting so much point of view footage, you're gonna see that here, and I had to delete a lot of footage from around the bunker because of the angle getting out of whack, being strapped to my backpack. So, in the future, I'm going to shoot a little more B-roll, especially if I have some people with me. Tried to compose this with the lighthouse and bunker in the same shot. Kind of a fan. As I started to make my way off the beach, I noticed this group of teens passing in front of the lighthouse and decided to take a picture. Being real, I pretty much destroyed my shoes taking all these photos. So you're welcome. Sorry the video is mostly just my lanyard, but at least there are a couple good photos of the lighthouse. So finally making my way off the beach, I noticed I only had a couple of exposures left, and I decided to waste them on these birdhouses and set up these compositions. And I quite like them, getting the flags, the lighthouse, and the birdhouses all in one shot. And up until I watched the video, to be honest, I didn't realize how many birds there were. It's actually quite astounding.
Okay, so we just blew through the second roll of Portra out here. It's now, I've been here for about 2.5 hours, I think, around. Maybe a little bit less, an hour and a half, I think. Somewhere between there. It's incredibly hot, and I think I've kind of exhausted this location a bit. We've headed down to the beach, seen a bunker I didn't even know was there until I reached the top of the lighthouse. Shot the top of the lighthouse. One interesting fact, after using my action camera to film the whole way up the lighthouse and everything in the lighthouse and off the lighthouse, I came out to find a sign that said, no, video recording. Yeah. Honestly, like, someone must have noticed this camera strapped to my chest, so, like, I guess no one cares. Okay, so I want to head into town now. Maybe blast through one more roll of film. I don't know exactly what yet, but there's a couple things I noted that I said on the way here. I think I might scratch the nuclear plant for another day. That's, I don't even know where that is or how to get to it. That's gonna take some extra research and legwork. But, we're gonna head back into town and see what we find after this. It's hot as in here. Oh, whoops, I cursed. But, right now it's reading outside temp 80 degrees. It's definitely not 80. Oh, and another good thing that happened today. Clouds did break up. I'm gonna stop this for a second and switch the camera. Yep. Those are beautiful skies for photography. And we're getting a bit of a haze from the forest fires in British Columbia coming over here right now. feel bad for British Columbia, but we're getting California light in New Jersey, and I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. If there's any good thing, I guess, to come from that. Anyway, time to head out. Okay, side note before I leave. So I just realized something. I don't know where my lens cap went. I put it on to rewind my film, like, about 100 yards that way, to the right. I guess dropped it somewhere on the way back. Yet I've walked back and forth 3 times looking for it. Spent about a good 20 minutes looking for this in the parking lot, and where I was taking my last couple photos before coming over here. And I cannot find it. So hopefully it rolled somewhere in my car where I sat my camera down, because I opened up the passenger door and just sat everything on the passenger seat, and then I just literally threw it, not even sat it. So maybe it popped off and rolled into the seat, hopefully, but this has happened to me 3 different times, so this is the only time I couldn't retrace my steps and find it, unfortunately. If you took onto the passenger seat for $500, you won.
So after leaving the state park, I decided to load up a roll of Kodak Gold 200, just because I was getting bored of Portra. And I headed over to this, I don't know what they call it, it's a bit of a food court type place, but it had a giant thing saying Exit 0 and all these vintage RV things sitting around, so it got my attention on the way in. So after some time trying to find a parking spot, I made my way over. So you might have noticed I didn't post the last photo, and I don't have this photo either to post. And that's because I can't tell if I thought I was gonna try and cheat and shoot on a leader, or I just forgot to advance the film forward, but that's what happened to those 2 shots. So believe it or not, these RVs have tables in them that you can actually eat at and sit in them if you want, but it was 9 degrees out, so I think that's why they were all empty. So the thing that grabbed my attention most of all passing by on the way through was that Exit 0 sign on top, and I try to make it a focal point in most of these photos, but that really grabbed my attention. And the whole thing is Cape May is Exit 0 on the parkway, and that's in New Jersey, what everyone knows as Exit 0. So that's why I wanted to do a couple of shots with the Exit 0 sign to really get the theme here. A few close-up shots I got at the back of the RVs are some of my favorite. Like this one where you can see through the back window and see all the records and see the old vintage license plate on the back. Same with this one, I love that old Jersey plate on the back. Cheers! I think this next shot might have been my favorite from the Gold 200 roll, just because that guy on the bike passed through the back at the perfect moment. At this point I made my way to the other side of the street to investigate this western saloon looking like building, which actually turned out to be a bar / liquor store, so quite fitting. I love this photo because it reminds me of something with like Texas or Arizona. I don't know, it just doesn't look like Cape May, New Jersey. I don't have any footage of me taking it, but this was the last shot I took before I got in the car to head home. And that was the last of them for Cape May. I really enjoyed my time in Cape May, and really enjoyed the lighthouse, the beach, and everything here. And I'm definitely gonna come back and make another video here at some point. It's a little grueling of a drive, about 2 hours on the parkway, but it was definitely worth it. And I took a different way out of the town to head home, and part of me regrets that because I missed so many things on the way in that I seen, like a cathedral and just this small little shore town type place that I would have liked to get more stuff of. But leaving, I must say, after making this second video for the channel, I'm so excited to produce more videos and keep this going. And I just ask you, like and subscribe and comment, anything helps. And I also ask that you go follow me on Instagram at FrankieQFilm, so we can keep on making more of these. I can keep on delivering more photos and more film for you guys and making more videos. And I'll see you in the next video in Montauk.